Hello. Hi, caregivers. Hi, carers and thrivers. It's Dr. Lana here. Caregivers, are you viewing it your role now as a burden or as a joy? Now, we're going to talk a lot about this topic today because joy is a feeling, is different from happiness, and that might just be a ooh for a day, but joy is deep seated. And so I invite you to join in the chat. So happy to welcome you here to the live and with me at Dr. Lana Care and Thrive, where we're going to go through this topic. We've talked so much about the what we can say the lesser side or the darker side of caregiving, and it's time to bring some joy. You agree? I agree. So who am I? If you haven't met before, I'm Dr. Lana, and I welcome you to my channel, All for Caregivers. So I am a general practitioner with 20 years and a specialist gerontologist, which deals with all things aging. But my passion and my joy comes from helping caregivers in methods of self care. Because admit it, caregiving does require a lot out of you. Family caregivers, especially, they're my passion. You are my passion. And it can become more than you can bear. And so finding a community, finding a group, finding what works for us all, what works for you, what works for us all, how we can engage with each other, that is the intention. So I think I had my speaker on mute just now. So if you didn't hear me, Dr. Lana again, gerontologist with a specialty and a place in my heart for family caregivers. So, what we're going to focus on, as I said, is self care, because you're going to put your oxygen mask on first if you're going to take care of anybody else. And one of the things that has been a recurring decimal, you can say, and certainly in my study as in gerontology, came up over and over again. And this concept, or this expression called caregiver burden. And it sounds like what it is, a load, a burden, something that you can't bear. So what is it? Why has it become that definition? Does that definition needs a challenge? Has it changed? Can you find joy in caregiving? And how? And how can relatives, family, friends, and the community, how can we help to support our caregivers? Because caregiving, let me tell you, it is a labor of love, but sometimes it can feel more like a labor, not true, as we say. So let's just go right into it. As I said, the definition, just go with the strict definition for now. So one of the definitions from scientists and a review that was done in the International Review of Neurobiology. This is some research that they had done in 2000. And this definition is kind of like, if you Google it, you'll find it anywhere. Says caregiver burden can be defined as the strain or load borne by a person who cares for a chronically ill, disabled, or elderly family member. And that's where the family caregivers come in. You hear those words? Strain, load, burden. Now, if I asked, let's say, here's my trusty cup of tea, because it is night where I am. So good morning, good afternoon, any of you, those of you joining me live, hello. My trusty cup of tea. So this cup It's all right. It's not a load. If I were to lift the table I am working on, that might be a little bit, you could call that a load. But let's say now I take up my entire living room chair, put that on my neck. Can I hold that forever? Can I hold that for 2 minutes? I didn't even try. I wouldn't try. I wouldn't try. I'm not even going to fool you or myself. I'm not going to try. Because you'd ask me if I'm crazy. It's a burden. It's more than you can bear. So it's a stress and a load. That encourages no one. That expression is basically what you've been describing, what you feel. I just want to share with you a really good friend, and she was very forthright, very honest. I loved her expression when I had asked her before um how she feels about caregiving. I just said, what do you describe caregiving as? Here's what she says: how much work it is, how debilitating, how emotionally draining, how sad. Yet she says, how rewarding. You go through this range of emotions, she says, and then start all over again. So this is a roller coaster of emotions. And then she said, I'm so thankful when the time will come when, you know, no one will say I am sick. Well, I definitely look forward to that time. And, you know, I do trust what the Bible says, and it says no one will say I'm sick. So until that time and that happens, this is the reality. One of my cousin's favorite statements. This is the reality of it, and we have to deal with it. So, how can you get it from being a burden and that expression into being a joy? From the distress and despair to delight. um, let's just talk about some of the things that make caregiving feel like a burden. Obviously, you've got a lot to do, especially if you're working. Um, it's worth repeating. Having that load of being a working caregiver, having to work, balance those responsibilities of a family, and then having a person you have to take care of. Maybe it's an older parent, an older relative who may have taken care of you. That that stress, that disruption in the entire routine. It's always been said that when one person is ill or has Alzheimer's or dementia, but if any family member is ill, the whole family is ill because it affects all the routine. It affects your own personal health. You may feel all alone. You may feel as though this load is just for me alone. No one else is listening. Feeling burdened is and that stress and the demands of caregiving um, can also lead to even worse feelings: anxiety, depression, really chronic depression. And so if you're feeling overwhelmed, as we said before in some previous posts, seek medical attention. Please talk to your doctor. Not This is not we don't want you to dismiss it and not using this as like consultation time. No, seek help from a medical doctor if you feel anything that's overwhelming you and beyond what you can bear. All right, please. Any change in your sleep, anything, change in appetite, all those we had spoken on caregiver burnout. But we don't want to be burnt out, but there are stresses and strains when you feel a burden, to be fair, that you're going to feel these increasing demands on your limited time, your limited fleshly human resources. And then it's coming from all over, and there's nothing left. Where can that joy be? Also, are you a family caregiver who has suddenly been thrust into that role so that there was no preparation? It just happened suddenly. Person may have had an event such as a stroke, such as just a life change, maybe a heart attack, maybe they've lost a limb, the dementia, they're no longer able to take care of themselves, and you don't want to place them in assisted care living. you really want to help out. You really want to do it. Um, but those changes do require a process. It's a process of change. It's a process of change. And sudden change does take you, just throws you off. So, what, how can we go from transpose from, as I said, burden to and despair to delight? And there are a couple of ways. We just break down 5 ways. Remember, we always want to keep to practical ways. This is a site and a channel. My intention is for self-care and joy and upliftment. Yes, it's hard. It's been tough. I've been there for a little bit of my journey and I see people every day, clients, patients, their family members every day. And there's a new thing, something new has happened. And just like almost overnight. So it seems as though, oh, I was just managing and now this is more than I can bear. Is that how you feel? Okay. Yeah, it can be how you feel sometimes. Yesterday was great, and today now feels like I can't go no. I just can't do it no more. I can't go no more. I can't take this no anymore. This is a burden. So if you have to work, you have to maintain your responsibilities. Let's see how we can make it a joy. So enough of the burden and so on. As I said, how can caregiving then? How can that definition be revised, or how can we challenge that definition from burden, that word burden, into something that sounds a little more, palatable? So an expression that has been used is caregivers responsibility. Isn't that it? Responsibility. We have responsibilities to brush our teeth, to bathe, to eat, to exercise. Is it a burden to brush your teeth? Really? Come on, no. Mm-mm. But it is a responsibility. So by lessening that definition, and that has become more of a recommendation and a guideline to use that word. So caregiver responsibility, caregivers uh, special role, we could say. Let's use those words. Let's change the narrative and use those words. And let's start to prioritize what the joys that you can have during the day. So, 5 ways. And this is from what I've heard persons have fed back to me, but also from this wonderful group of persons called Companion for Caesars for Seniors. I'll leave the link below. And the general theme running through is on joy, on little things. Doesn't have to be a massive breakout party. I mean, who can do that right now? With all that you have to do, you're gonna now go plan a party with all those kind of things in this environment. Mm-mm. So making it easier on you. Just keep it calm, keep it simple. Little things mean a lot. One suggestion would be, do you know their favorite meal? When you work on sharing a meal together, especially if they're still able to share. So, for example, I knew of a client, she was 107, and she always wanted to do something. She was always active, always like into it. 107, mind you. And well, she was 102 to 107. I known her from before, but she had a spirit indomitable. And her caregivers, it was just a joy. It was a joy for me to talk to her. And she would always say, when they're preparing meals, I want to do something. I want to do my own little washing. I can season the chicken. I can, and that's what we do in the Caribbean. But whatever you do, however you plan your meals, get them involved if they can. Even if it seems as though they don't want to, maybe let them be in the your person you're caring for, be near you and talk to them. It may not seem as though they're responding, but chat. Just chat. Say, oh, mom, dad, uncle, do you want to help me with the carrots today? Or what is this? What's your favorite? What do you want me to do? Or you knew what they like to eat from before. And letting them share it in the preparation, it, you know what it does? It dignifies them, makes them feel as though they are, you know, not the burden, because many care persons are being cared for always say, don't you find, I don't want to put you to too much trouble, or I am being too much trouble, or I don't want to give you any more stress than you have already. Mm-mm. And to feel that way every day is disempowering to that person. And it then makes you feel even more stressed, because then you see their going down, their feelings of disempowerment. So let's get involved, get them involved with their favorite meal, preparing it if they can. Let them sit. If they have to sit, even if they are confined otherwise, let them be there when everyone's talking near preparing the meal, sharing, laughing together. Create that memory. Take pictures of it. They may not remember the pictures, but I mean, they see it. They may not remember the event, but they can see it and recognize it and feel the energy of the joy. So that's one thing. Share, remember their favorite meal, help them to get involved, share it with them. Makes you feel good, makes them feel dignified, and makes them feel good. Joy number one. Joy number one. Another thing is music. Oh, music. If I had $1 for every song that just lifted my spirits, I I think I'd have enough money to travel to Saturn. I could go to another planet. Because music, what does music do? Music lifts your spirits. Music triggers that part of the brain that sometimes, even if, as you know, persons with cognitive impairment, brain impairment, dementia, Alzheimer's, maybe they're confined physically. There's something about music, whether it's just the words, lyrics, or just the melody, that tells the brain this is a happy place. It triggers those chemicals in the brain that go happy. It triggers memories that are great memories, especially, again, favorite music. So you may have grown up knowing what their favorite music was. What is your favorite music? Play the radio, put on, what do people use now? What, flash drives, DVDs, cassettes? Well, no, not cassettes, probably. Those are probably defunct. Um, a CD. Just go on a channel. You find a YouTube channel. Find something that will be playing their favorite music. Back in time. Take it back. There's almost any study you can Google which talks about music that will say music. Music stimulates that brain. Persons who have dementia, who may not be able to remember or form their words clearly or be clear when they're speaking, can often sing an entire song. You wonder, how can you remember that entire song but can't remember what you ate this morning? But it does bring that joy, it eases that, it energizes them. This spirits come alive. I know my grandmother, there's some songs that she loves. She loves Jim Reeves. I don't know if you know about him, but an older singer. And every time he comes on, she remembers him, an older song. So it takes us back. Not all older persons are going to want to be in the activities, in festivities, and not everyone does celebrate festivities. At the end of the year, we're coming into the close. This is the second week of, is it? Yeah, second week of December of 2022. And we're coming to the close of that. And it's true, not everyone is going to be in the festivities, the big things, but just maybe have them, you know what they like. If they like balloons, I like balloons. If they like balloons, if they may want to decorate, if you decorate, get them involved again. Anything that makes them share. You see how that word share brings us into an embrace. It takes it away from the burden, and it makes it an opening and a space for joy. Is that number three? That's number three. So we meal, we're sharing music, we're are, you know, bringing out celebratory things, finding out what they like, and just doing it. What about the going out into nature? Now, for those of you who are in the cold country, that may not be working right now. But if you have your plants in the house, or if you have a kitchen garden, or if we can do, or if you can go somewhere, if it's a warmer day, you can go in nature. Just look outside, look out through the window, see this. If you're seeing snow, oh, bring some for me. I'm seeing, well, it's glorious sunshine when it's daytime right now in Barbados in the Caribbean. Although I thought I saw snow the other day, but it was blossoms from a tree. But I have a immense imagination. So use your imagination. Go out into nature. Know their favorite flower. Bring a set of flowers into the house. Let them go through the flowers. Let them arrange the flowers. That would be a nice way as well, wouldn't it? So we see little ways that we can bring joy. Lastly, intergenerational connections. What's that? So you've not heard of generation gap? Well, we bringing generations together. Let's the teenagers who may be like this constantly, and you're trying to figure out when they're going to find the time to open their eyes and actually look up from the devices. Let's get them involved as well. So if you have children and you have teenagers, help delegate. Say, you know what? Today's grant. Today we're gonna all do something with grant. Have your special games night, your special games day. Maybe bring them together. Have them involved in the discussion. Have them see. You know what? This is what it's all about. Bringing us together, sharing and making it a joy. And what that does for a teenager, it gives a sense of responsibility, taking some of that weight off of you. It gives them a sense also of regard for the inheritance, for their heritage. I'm so grateful for my heritage growing up amongst older ones, my grandmother, my grandfather, my aunts, uncles, seeing them and seeing their responsibility and seeing how they viewed it. It gives the teenagers and younger ones who just love to play. Let them get involved. Have you ever seen a grandparent, even if they may not be communicative? Children, bring them joy, the little ones. Have the little ones involved. Have the teenagers come around. At first, they may not want to, but help them suggest what they might want to do. Help them make the decisions. Would you like to do this with Gran? Would you like to do this with us today? Would you like to be involved instead of Can you Google something that we can all do together? How about that? So as we draw this to a close, we're taking the caregiving from burden. We're not using that word anymore. Is that an expression I should use? No. No burden. Responsibility? Sure. Joy? Absolutely. How can others help? Call your friends. Have them suggest what they can do. If it's safe still, bring them in. Have your mom, dad, whoever's there, that they are their peers and friends, have them come over. If they can't, Zoom it, Skype, face to FaceTime, whatever you can do. And just bring everyone together and have a little chat, have a little community based, family based joining together. I hope this was helpful. I really enjoyed this time because talking about joy really, you know what, brings everybody joy. And there's a quote that I quite like. I actually um it was something I had seen. I decided, you know what, this might mean something to somebody. So if you just, my last words would be, um, let's see how we can spread the joy and use our words to heal each other. Use our words, use our phrases. Speak, always be kind. Smile, find ways to laugh, play music, dance like nobody's looking. If they can dance and then they're in a wheelchair, say, come on. I do as my grand, say, come on. Well, I call her mom, obviously. She's so dear. And, I was raised by her. So I say, Mom, come. And she's like, oh, I don't want to dance. I say, come on, pull my hands. And she goes, oh, da, da. But I could tell that she's liking it. So, let's say, look, Dad, come. What did you do before? The hustle. You maybe can't do that before, but am I doing it right? And then you dance, and everybody's dancing, and they're dancing in a circle, and you're around the older person, or you're around the person that you're taking care of and doing the caregiving for. That's joy. It's little things. It's not, yes, it does bring the responsibilities, it does bring the challenges, but it brings joy as well. So my last words when it comes to talking, to sharing, to bringing joy and smiles. Let's smile as we go through the end of this year. If it was a tough one for you, my heart goes out to you. It's been really, really tough. It has been tough. But joy, gratitude, oh, words that heal, people that mean well, friends you can count on, family support, nothing like it. So I'm leave you with these words, and let's take these going through. Leave the comments, share your experiences. But I'd love to share this with you. Words have power to heal. So let's steer ourselves towards healing our own hearts by speaking positive words towards ourselves and those we care for. Positive words attract blessings and goodwill. It may not be a cure. We're not expecting a cure. Not be a cure. But it is a mindset that gives us courage and strength to go on another day. And with that, friends, carers, loved ones, smile. Let's heal each other with our words. Take care of yourself first. Be kind to yourself. It can be tough, but there's a big, big forest out there, and that forest is a forest of joy. So we're not, no more care burden, caregiving responsibility, and caregiving joy. Until next time we meet, smile, smile, smile. Bye bye.